What we have done in last class, we have discussed about iteration demo. What is iteration demo and why is it so important? Because I'm recalling some things from the previous class. The first thing is that yes, it is very important that when you give some deployable software, when you give some potential release to a stakeholder, so it makes stakeholders also being satisfied about the performance of the team, performance of the organization. And then next thing, that how to conduct an iteration demo, that any one person from the team can go and give that demo. And that demo will be some important another points that I told you that I will continue in next class, that is today. So listen to it, how to conduct an iteration demo. In that one, the first thing that I discussed was same, it is same that I discussed in last class, that any one person from the team can conduct that iteration demo. And but preferably it should be product manager, because product manager also acts like on-site customer. So he is having complete understanding about what stakeholder wants, from the point of view of the real customer, you can say like that. Another thing that you have to remember in this one is that anyone can attend the demo. It can be like your real customer, it can be the whole team, it can be the stakeholder, it can be the executive sponsor, anyone possible. Or if anyone, the team members wants to invite from outside, or any other person wants to invite some person from outside, they can also attend iteration demo. That thing you have to remember. Last thing about iteration demo you have to remember in conduction of iteration demo is the complete demo of iteration should take about 10 minutes. It should not be very long, like you are giving demo of 1 hour 2 hours. It should not be like this. And it's only been because this iteration demo, why is it so that it requires only 10 minutes, and why they are giving only 10 minutes to that? The reason being is that you are working only for 1 week and you are deploying some part of the complete project. So obviously some stories you have completed in 1 week, and those stories you are showing in your like iteration demo, that this thing is completed and these particular stories are being completed and being given to the stakeholder. So these 2 3 points you have to remember in conduction of iteration demo. Last thing about iteration demo, at the in the last of the demo, when it will end up, the complete demo meeting will end up, then ask your executive sponsor to key question that is our work to date satisfactory. Obviously it makes an impression on them that the person who is sponsoring the complete project, who is investing the money on it, and the person who is interested into the project, the stakeholders, they should be satisfied with the performance of team. The velocity of the team should be satisfactory. The pace of developing things should be maintained. And second question is, may we continue? If they are satisfied, then yes, we can proceed with the things further for the next iteration demo. For the next week preparation, we can continue. So these things are to be kept in mind, that the person for whom you are developing things, that person should be satisfied. So these questions help keep the project on track and remind your sponsor to speak up if he or she is unhappy. So you should be communicating well enough with your sponsor that her answers are never a surprise. So it should be like, yes, you are working properly with the complete place in a consistent way. That is all about iteration demo. And last thing that I have written over here is weekly deployment is very essential. So if you are showing your answer, this is from exam point of view, if you are showing your answer point wise about iteration demo, you can utilize these bold points. How to conduct an iteration demo, 2 questions should be asked in iteration demo at the end of the meeting. Weekly deployment is very essential. So what is the meaning of this particular line, weekly deployment is very essential? So weekly deployment is nothing but again means a potential release. So iteration demo is just not like a, you have done some work and you are just giving it whatever you have done. Basically it is very crucial thing. Why? Because it is a way to prove that you are making real progress in every iteration. And so it is advisable for the team to provide an actual release that stakeholders can try for themselves after the demo. Even if they are not interested in trying a demo release, you have to create it anyway, so that whenever it is required, whenever they will ask, even the upper authorities of the organization, they can also ask what, where you are leading to in your project in context of the development. So those kind of things should be there. That's why this weekly deployment is very essential, and you have to develop things continuously. You cannot avoid it. So remember these points. And basically, yes, that's it about iteration demo. Nothing much else to remember about it. So that is your iteration demo. And now I'm moving forward to the next slide. Releasing. So we are basically moving towards the next particular portion of your syllabus. And if in between I am skipping some one or two topics, don't bother about it. In the last I will cover, I am trying to cover some of the important things first. And actually almost everything is being covered according to your syllabus in second unit. I think one is left. This releasing thing that is written over here, releasing, it is your third unit. And all the topics written over here, done. Basically it is not a part, but yes, you should know about it. That's why I kept it. No bugs, version control, a 10-minute build, continuous integration, collective code, uh, post hoc documentation. So maybe in your syllabus it has been given in with another terms, but what are the topics being covered in your syllabus is this one. I think except the first one, everything else is there. And I think this one is not there, the second last. But yes, these are very important parts. And I will tell you about done also. It can come in objective type of questions or in brief note, that what is done. Okay, so we'll start with it. What is the releasing thing, and how it works? What is the meaning of this release, and why it is so important to discuss about it? So basically, release is nothing but your, again, it comprises of several practices of your extreme programming. So it defines the value of your code, whether your things are being completed on time, whether you are enough productive with the project, and whether you are providing less error prone projects, and you are keeping all the things as a backup. Whatever you are implementing, whatever you are designing, your all libraries that you have worked on, all things should be kept as a backup for future purpose also. So, and your small release things, those things are going well or not, and your integration things are going smoothly or not. So this is particularly, all these things comprises and gives you a release in a project. Basically your, that means your project is ready to get released in a proper manner, and you can deploy it to your stakeholder. That is the meaning of releasing. So that's why releasing comprises of these kind of stuff, that it should not be much to the error prone, and documentation is proper or not, and ownership is going in a collective way or not. So these things we are going to discuss in this particular topic, releasing. So I will start with the first one, done. So what is this done? Actually, it seems like very funny word. What, why they kept like the meaning of done. So yes, obviously extreme programming is like, if you are working in extreme programming, that means it's fun way around your environment complete. So what is the meaning of it? It's done. See the tagline over here. We are done when we are production ready. Basically, it is talking about your story completion. It is talking about in 1 week whether you have completed all the stories, the prioritized list, that you have maintained in starting, and whether it's been ready to give it to the stakeholder. That is the meaning of done. So what you have to remember in this particular thing, the first one, that let's go through this line first. What does it take for software to be done? That depends on your organization, and basically what extreme programming advises you, that you should keep a checklist that shows the story completion criteria. And what kind of checklist it can be, so listen to it carefully. There are some things that you should keep in the checklist to make sure that you are ready to deploy the thing. So first thing is, okay, whether all the testing are completed or not. Like it can be your unit testing, one module test, or it can be integration testing. After integrating all the codes together, then one testing happens. Or customer tests are being completed or not. That means your all testings are finished and you are ready in context of testing. Second checklist, in the checklist part, second thing is coding, all coding work is being completed or not. Third thing is designed, whether the designing part is up to the team satisfaction or not, or it is up to the on-site customer satisfaction or not. uh, Next one is integrated, all the things, the story works from basically you can understand it in the way that all the things, your database, your coding part, and everything should fit into the rest of the software. If multiple people are developing, they should integrate it and everything should work properly all together. So that part is completed or not. um, Whether your completed stories are being reviewed or not. So these are some of the checklist points that you have to keep, and that will set the criteria for your story, that it's being completed or not, and whether you can deploy it or not, whether it is production ready or not. So that thing you have to remember. So that is the basic idea about done. Next thing, so that was all about your checklist. Next thing is how to be done, how you can lead to that particular thing, that yes, it's been completed and now it's done, and it's now you can give it to the stakeholder. So let's go through this line first. So what extreme programming says, okay, it is not like you have to work on everything all together. Obviously, in first week you are working on stories. On next week also you are working on stories. So what is the recommendation to the team people, that you should not go on everything all together. You should not make very big stories, that you are making the aim to complete one very big story. In spite of that, it is advisable in extreme programming that may develop it in a little forms. So make a little progress on every aspect of your work every day. So that is the motto uh, which you should remember, and how to be done. Another thing, that you can discuss the things with the your project manager, your domain experts, or the programmers available in the team, that what should be the stories should be created, what kind of story should be created, what should be the size of the story. These are some constants that you have to remember. Next thing that you have to remember, basically the first thing that I told you is extreme programming works best when you make a little progress on every aspect of your work every day. And regarding same thing, it is an easier way to work. Once you get used to it, it reduces the risk of finding unfinished work at the end of iteration. So obviously it happens in our real life also. If you are directly jump onto the like big thing, it will you will feel like it's like a headache. And if you are continuously doing it in small parts, you will feel like that we are going very smoothly. So it follows the same concept, okay, how you should make your thing to be productive ready. So go take a little steps, and finally you will be able to deliver it complete. So that is a complete motto. Next thing, throughout this process, about same thing I'm telling you in how to be done. When you are following these kind of process, to develop little things. So throughout this process, you may find some mistakes, errors, or you can say bugs. So whenever you are finding those kind of bugs, fix them right away. Don't wait for it in the end. Just collect all the bugs and just collect all the errors. And you are waiting that in the end, after completion of everything, then I will fix it. Don't follow that kind of practice. Just fix them right away whenever you are encountering that kind of any error or bug. So it will improve your work habits to prevent that kind of error from occurring again. So that's it about how to be done. Next is making time. Making time is like a sometimes what happens ki it seems impossible to do large amount of work in 1 week. So it is easier to do if you work on it throughout the iteration rather than saving it for last two days or 1 day. So basically you have to make again same thing is coming up over here. Making time means you are organizing things as per your time and as per your availability basically, and the availability of resources also. So that is all, that is the main concept of making time. Next thing, many teams who are new to extreme programming, who have never worked in extreme programming, they create stories that are too large to get done. They finish all the coding and then they don't have enough time to completely finish the story. So it happens when you are very new to the extreme programming practices, and when you are not aware about the things. That's why it is very important to go through them before working on it. So yes, that is all about your done thing, what is done and how it works. So next part is your no bugs. That is your next topic in releasing thing. So let's go through it. What is no bugs? What is the meaning of no bugs? If you are watching these two words, no bugs means there should be no errors. I know that you must be aware about this term bug. Bug means error, any error that is coming over in your code or in your project. So what is the tagline for that? That extreme programming follows that we confidently release without a dedicated testing phase. Actually that should not be the tagline, but yes, they follow this kind of thing because they are so confident about themselves, extreme programming team, that we will in the end be bug free. We are so confident about ourselves that we will not release with an error. But actually it is not advisable. You should do all your testing on time. But yes, for no bugs, it's like yes, having confidence is good thing only. So this is the tagline that you have to remember. Now next thing that I wanted to tell you about here is about no bugs is that what happens in no bugs, if you are getting any bug in between or right away, you have to fix it. First thing that we have already discussed in done also. Next one is ke the extreme programming. Generally it's been said about extreme programming with if you're talking about scrum methodology, scrum or another SDLC models, generally it happens that with module wise we are developing things. In every module or in the end of the every module, what happens that we get so many errors, and it takes times to like correct them or to fix them. But extreme programming says that our practices are so effective that we can achieve dramatically lower bug rates. And I would say if you will go through some real time examples or real time situations of it, then I think it is true also. Um, you can say like that. Yes, it is true because the concepts, the practices of retrospectives work here, that you are again and again checking upon your codes, checking upon your design, checking upon your analysis, whether you are going in a correct direction or not. You are applying the practice of pair programming. So all these words you have to mention over here in no bugs thing. Okay, that what can lead you towards no bugs. So it's nothing but all the practices of XP only, that only you have to follow, and that will lead you towards that one. So That is about the introduction of no bugs, and what strategies you can follow in this one. Some extreme programming practices that you can write down is retrospective daily stand-up meetings, pair programming. These are some things that will help you out to lead towards no bugs, and continuously checking and testing. That is also one of the things. Now next thing, how is this possible that you are not even getting one bug, one error, not even one error? So if you are on a team with a bug count in the hundreds, so obviously you will feel like okay, you will feel weird that okay, how we will achieve the criteria of no bugs. So no bugs, basically you have to keep an ambition for no bug. There is nothing like in a real time practice, there is nothing like you are not having any error in your complete project in the end. It doesn't happen generally, but theoretically yes, because when you are aiming for something, you will lead to almost near it. So that's why extreme programming says, okay, you should be aiming towards achieving no bug product. So that's why the second line you can go through it. No bugs is an ideal to strive for. No bugs is an ideal to strive for, not something your team will necessarily achieve. It is not mandatory that in the end your complete project will be bug free, complete bug free, not even one error. Next, what you have to remember in this one, how to achieve nearly zero bugs, almost zero bugs. So there are some practices, there are some things that you have to follow, and these are the ones that we have to remember in these things. I will explain to you what are these. The first one is write fewer bugs. By utilizing a wide variety of technical and organizational practices. What is the meaning of this term? Basically, you can utilize, I'm talking about this particular point. If you are getting confused over here, I will highlight it, this one. Write fewer bugs. That means the extreme programming says you should follow the concept of test driven development. Basically you are developing your complete thing on the basis of test cases. You are generating unit test case, then integrated test cases, then finally complete thing. So at each and every point testing is happening that will lead you towards no bugs or very fewer bugs. So that can be achieved through test driven development. So in this first one, first ingredient, you have to talk about test driven development, which will help you to write fewer bugs. Next one, eliminate bug breeding grounds. What is the meaning of this one? That means technical depths. The concept of technical depths come here. So just understand it in this way, like writing fewer bugs is very important first step for reducing the number of defects. If you accomplish, if you can achieve that much, you are well ahead of most of the teams in your organization. But don't stop there. You can generate even fewer defects. And even with test driven development, your software will accumulate technical depth over time. Basically, it can come through your designing or your analysis part, which can lead you towards some errors, or your requirement if you have not completed your requirements, or your designing part is not correct. So that kind of thing should not be there. So here you have to talk about, in spite of just developing test cases, you have to uh, go through other phases also, which can lead to the bugs, which can lead to the errors. So that you should not avoid. So in ingredient 2, you have to talk about, along with your test cases, test driven development, you have to talk about your designing phase, you have to talk about your other analysis phase, which can lead to errors. So that thing also you have to keep in mind. Next one, fix bugs now. So it is very much understandable. Whenever you are encountering any bug, any error, you have to fix it right away. Don't wait for it for a long time. So there's nothing much to understand about this one. Ingredient 3, fix bugs now. That means don't wait for it. Don't give long time. Okay. Next one is your test your process. So you have to test it continuously. unit testing, integration testing, and your customer test. It should be completed on time. And next one is exploratory testing is very effective way of finding unexpected bugs. And you can think of exploratory testing as testing your process, not your software. Basically, it is exploratory testing means your process is fine as per the needs or not. So that is your test your process, exploratory testing. So I think we are out of time. So I will wind up over here and I will continue in the next class. And I think we are almost done with no bugs, and I will continue with the next topic in next class. We'll wind up this particular thing in the next one. Okay. So if you are having any doubts, please message me in chat box. Otherwise, I will just end up the meeting. Okay then. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.